Welcome to UC&P TV. We have some guests here that I'm extremely excited about. My brother-in-law, Joe, who is a college athletics administrator, an author, a photographer. We have my sister, Evelyn, who is an attorney, a fashion consultant, a fashion designer, and a TV personality. How are you all today?
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
I'm good. I'm good. All right. So they were recently featured on the hit television show Bridezillas. So I have some questions about that for you guys today. How was it? How was the filming experience for you?
Want to go first?
It was a very interesting experience. It was something that you couldn't put a price on it. It was something that was both exciting and challenging at the same time because if you've watched the episode, you'll find out that what we did was a 2-day celebration, trying to basically highlight the cultural tradition as well as American tradition. All the while, we were planning this from a long distance standpoint. So her and I were both long distance, and I had recently taken a new appointment, so I was long distance. So we're scrambling, trying to plan these two weddings from a distance, and make sure we do them right. So it was exciting to get all of that all on TV, but at the same time, it was very challenging trying to get it done amidst it all.
It was challenging to get it done amidst it all, and then it was so much you felt like still need to be done the week of the wedding. And people don't know or don't think about the background behind filming. We started filming we had our first meetup with a producer the Sunday before the week of the wedding, and or the Sunday of the week of the wedding, and we filmed the whole. We filmed for 6 days. So in the midst of trying to get all these last minute things, like real life things, you have this camera crew in your face all day long, following you around, asking you when they're not around, they're calling you to ask you, what are you doing now? Where are you now? Can we follow you? Can we meet up with you? Etc. But they're with you at least 12 hours a day. So you're having the real pressures of planning. Imagine planning one wedding or one big event, but no, we have two. And one is the traditional Nigerian wedding that we're trying to make sure that we have done right. So it was a lot, a lot going on, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. Like I do it again and again and again, honestly, because I realized I enjoyed being in that element. Like it was really fun getting mic'd up, talking and laughing with all these different people behind the scenes. Just it's one thing to watch TV, and I'm not even a big TV watcher, but it's another thing to like be behind the scenes, and I absolutely love it. I love the fact, like I love our relationship, and I love the fact that people are able to see like how we interact, what we do on a day-to-day basis, and I really enjoy highlighting that for other people. Like I feel like that's where we belong. Like I like being on TV. I like the behind the scenes. I like it all.
Yeah.
I enjoyed really getting to be myself despite the cameras. And that was one of the things that, when we talked about doing the show, I was like, hey, I'm going to be me 24/7. So as long as you can accept that for what it is with the camera crew in front of me, then that's completely fine. And so that was one of the big things that we were really excited about. And so again, as she said, we got to highlight our personalities and be our authentic selves without compromising that.
Right. Who wouldn't want a platform to show people who you really are, Right.
And that's what I was gonna say. It felt super authentic. Like it felt like, hey, like I'm here with them. Like I'm enjoying this experience with them. Like it felt like we saw all of your true emotions, which some of which were, frantic, but others were like, love and bliss. One of my favorite scenes was actually getting to see the traditional Nigerian wedding, you guys being able to showcase that. And then also the moment where Joe is talking to Dad and they're negotiating the dowry. Joe, was there ever a time where you were like, I don't think this is going to happen, or where you wanted to give up with, kind of getting all of the items on the list?
No, I wouldn't say that I was ready to give up. It was just one of those things like I've been molded from life for this, from different experiences and different opportunities have kind of helped me to be able to not fold under pressure. But it was one of those things like, okay, I'll be really happy when this is over with, because it was already having limited information. So doing my own research, having certain conversations all the while, there were little curves thrown in there. I missed it. But it was one of those things I got, it's literally a reflection of those who truly don't crack under pressure, get the fruits of their labor. And, I'm happy to get through it. And I'm happy about my fruit of my labor.
I love it. And and just, we could see the resilience in you, like you really fighting to get those things, those items. And we love, how you've embraced our culture. And I've even like kind of seen on social media where people were saying like, yeah, we love how much he loves her because he's willing to do those things. But y'all, is it a challenge to merge two cultures? Have y'all found that in your marriage?
I can't say I have actually. Like he was from day one very, very embracive of the culture, very interested in it. And I think that's what makes a difference. You're interested in what's going on in the person's background. For one, you respect the fact that everybody comes from, or a lot of people, no one comes from, or everyone doesn't come from the same background you come from. And the fact that you first can acknowledge that and then accept it, that's the next part. You have to accept other people's backgrounds. And then third, you want to learn it and you genuinely want to learn it. And then to me, it also shows how much you care about that person to say, I'm going to get outside of myself and put myself maybe in uncomfortable situations or foreign situations to learn the culture. So I haven't seen it as a problem, just like I've learned things about him and his background, and I've also assimilated as well. So it worked out on both parts, but it hasn't been a struggle. If anything, it's offered us another way of bonding that some people don't have. Like people who are from the same background don't have that. Oh, we bonded on learning each other's cultures or background, or we bonded on this experience, or this person was able to show me that they care about me in this other way as well, which is embracing my background, embracing my family. And it's especially helpful, you understand, being like the first generation born in America, your parents are immigrants, and then you're raised where people didn't accept that growing up. And so to finally have someone who literally loves it, where you're not ashamed of how your food smells in your parents' house, or, saying your middle name, or, the quirks of, us loud talking Nigerians and the culture and bringing them home for the holidays without being embarrassed. And then saying like, wow, you're seeing the opposite of what other people wanted to make you feel bad or different or bullied or whatever for. This person is like literally immersing themselves in it. So that's like another level of bonding that you have that a lot of people don't have. So it actually enhanced our marriage in a way that I think other people have not even had the chance to experience.
Wow.
I would say that speaks to intentions and intentionality. Like we as individuals, we're intentional people, and everything that we do has some kind of intentions with it. And so with our actions, everything that we do is intentional. And so as we started dating and as we built on a relationship turned into marriage, everything that we wanted to do was by intention. And so when it came to learning about one another's culture, when it came to, finding out their triggers, everything it came with intentions. And, whether it be, okay, I'm learning you because I want to grow with you and grow, take our relationship to the next level. It was also making sure that you don't want to activate certain triggers and things of that nature. All the while, it's also about investment. Like when you are in a serious relationship or when you become to learn someone, you want to actually invest in them. And I'm one of those individuals, like I invest in all of my friends, but especially when it comes to my relationship with my wife, I invest in her fully. And so it was, if I'm going to invest into you, I need to buy into your culture. I need to know who you are as an individual. I need your family to understand where I am in life and who I am as an individual. And that really helped our transition and as we merged together. And just, it was one of those things like, again, I invested in her. And so as I invested in her, I fully wanted to know and grasp her culture. And the beauty of it is like she's connected to her Nigerian culture and she knows where she belongs. She knows where she comes from. If you look at the genealogy, she can tell you exact village and her namesake and things of that nature. And unfortunately, me being African American, I'm from the stateside, and so I don't have that connection. And so it was a beautiful thing being able to almost be a part of something, because of my generation's roots. I can't. The transatlantic slave trade stopped that. So being able to be connected to the motherland in this kind of interaction, it spoke volumes. So I definitely wanted to give it my all. And, us being on the show would give us other individuals the opportunity to see that and get that same connection or feeling, or at least be inspired to do so.
Yeah, I love that. I love those themes of intentionality, and, the fact that from what Evelyn is describing, from what you are describing, it wasn't like a forced thing. It was like, I love you and I want to get to know more about you. And since this is such a huge part of your life, this is what I will learn about and embrace and actually act out. We get to see you doing traditional dance on the show. We get to see you wearing the traditional garb. And so it just really, that spoke to me, and I could tell it spoke to a lot of people because I saw a lot of comments that were just praising that. So, you guys are dropping a lot of gems, and I was going to ask you for some gems. I know that you're about a month away from your wedding anniversary, which is awesome. Congratulations, or early congratulations. So what advice do you have for people who are, thinking about marriage? Maybe they are engaged, or maybe just a couple of months in, since you guys are almost at a year.
Our number one theme is communication. Communication, it may sound cliche, you may see it written 100 times in different places, but communication really, really, really is one of the major glues to marriage. And we learned that early on. We were forced to learn that because we were in a long distance relationship. And we realized very quickly, if we didn't have communication, we would not be able to build. And so it's being able to communicate in so many different facets. From you're communicating about, your past and your struggles, so you're communicating about your likes and your wants, communicating about what it is you see in a relationship long term, and if that person is along for the ride, and what you see for your, you all as a couple. Being able to be honest with each other and say, just because you feel this way doesn't mean I feel this way. And can we come to a common consensus? Can we move forward with us both having different feelings towards a certain topic? Or do we need to respect each other and take a step back? So that communication and that honesty and just being able to feel 100% free around that person is such a major thing. And then when you have that communication, you have that honesty, you also have that choice aspect. They say love is a choice. And yes, you have butterflies, and literally I still have butterflies every day. But at the same time, you have to choose, because we're humans and we have so many emotions. We're never just 100% rainbows and butterflies all the time. And anybody who is completely fake, and it won't last long. And so when you have those other emotions, when a person may annoy you, quote unquote, or, one person washes dishes and sticks the forks up and the other one sticks it up and down, you don't fall apart because of that. So it's like those moments when you are not feeling rainbows and butterflies, you still choose to say, but I love this person. I'm going to stick through with this person. I'm not going to let this tiny little thing tear us apart. So I think those are the three major factors. Let me know if I missed anything or didn't explain it well, but
like you said, communication is key at the end of the day. And it's more than talking, and it's more than listening. It's literally allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to accept certain things, being able to commute certain things, communicate certain things. It's being able to, put that wall down despite your past, or, fear of what the future and present may lie ahead. It's literally moving past all of that. So, unless you're ready to be vulnerable, unless you're ready to communicate those things, then it's not something that you should walk into or tread in lightly. And then it goes back again to, like I was saying, when it comes to intentions and investment, you have to be fully ready to invest in a person. And it can't just be one occasion, one night when things are going on the up and up. No, it's when you're feeling at your lowest, when someone is having a not so good day, or when you're triggered by certain things. It's being able to push past that. And even when you want to, crawl into your wall or go in your corner and not do that, it's having to make that choice to push past that, because, you've invested in that person and you intentionally want to move forward with this person. So, those are things that you really have to consider going on, because there's so much going on in life. But your house needs to be your sanctuary, and you need to have peace with one another. But you also have to allow each other your moment. So being able to communicate that, being able to be vulnerable, to say that and do that, I think that will get you ahead of the curve. And then one thing that she did say, which I was surprised, is it's like, don't go to bed angry at each other.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing. We learned that on early. And, again, we have some issues practicing that sometimes. And that's mainly because of me, because when I'm mad, I want to be mad. Like, let me be mad. But I also have to understand the bigger picture is we can't go to bed mad, because you don't know what's going to happen. You could, something can happen in the middle of the night, God forbid. And so don't be mad. Like, if anything, we can approach this again tomorrow, but no, you're not going to be mad tonight. Even the same thing when it comes to leaving with one another. Hey, you may be mad, I may be mad, but we can at least kiss each other and say, I love you, and then we'll be mad when we get back.
Yeah.
Are these skills that take time to acquire?
Absolutely.
Yes, or at least to practice, because we kind of established these things early on, but it pushed us to grow. Like it pushed us to grow and mature in ways that we didn't realize we needed to say all the time. Like, for us, we were long distance. So saying don't go to bed mad didn't mean literally physically, but it meant that even if we had a disagreement or a misunderstanding, it was, you can't go to sleep without giving me a call back, and vice versa. And we talking this through. So that forced us to communicate. Or again, like, hey, we part ways, kiss each other goodbye, regardless of how you feel. But like, it forces you to communicate. And yes, it's like a learning thing. And we push ourselves during our relationship. So it hasn't been hard now that we're actually married. So that was like a benefit of establishing those rules early on.
Yeah, and that was literally what it was. It was literally, hey, let's sit down, let's talk about this. Hey, before you go somewhere, I need this to be said. Hey, before we go to bed at night, this is what needs to happen. Like, it literally was as simple as that. And it was, it was a habit that eventually formed, but it took practice. And don't get me wrong, it takes practice even on now. It's, holding the other person accountable. Hey, before you leave, don't forget this. And again, you have to be vulnerable enough to accept that, but you also have to understand that you have to communicate those wants and needs.
Wow. So I hear a few things: communication, honesty, definitely intentionality, and don't go to bed upset. Those were just a few points that I heard, but wow, that's some awesome advice that I think our viewers will appreciate.
Marriage actually it sharpens your skills for other aspects of life as well. So it's like forcing myself, or putting that mirror to me, and vice versa, makes me realize that I may not be a good communicator in other relationships, or whatever, or choosing to be a good friend in other, you know what I mean? So it's like, it helps sharpen your skills for other areas in your life as well.
Wow. I love that. I love the fact that, a lot of times I guess we think that marriage, especially when you're in a relationship, you're looking at the other person, but really it causes you to look at yourself and to really kind of self-evaluate and improve. So I love that point. Great point, Evelyn. All right. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, so you're a TV personality, but you guys are also, you're an attorney, you are a college athletics administrator. And so how do you guys balance sort of those creative projects that you have, like with TV and some of the other things that you're working on? How do you find a balance between that and your current professions?
It's one of those things that we haven't perfected, and it's still something that we are trying to establish routines and figure it out, because everything is seasonal. Some things are up on the end, or high up on this end, or low up on the other end. And so one of the things one of my mentors told me is like, it's never going to be a balance. You'll never have a work-life balance. But what you should try to do is let your work and your life and your projects or endeavors outside of your professional career, it should flow in unison, because in some cases, it's never going to be 50-50s. But as long as you're working to the betterment of some things, and you're moving things forward, I think that's the biggest thing. Some days I'm going to be able to work on photography and do editing, or work on the next project. But then again, my professional work is going to allow for me to only be focused on that for 3 weeks at a time specifically. And so, you have to understand that tidal wave.
Right. I agree. So like you said, balancing, also think about creating a schedule and really sticking to it, being really disciplined. Because if you first set your goals and you know what you want to do as far as career wise, as well as an entrepreneur and creative, you first, set out those goals and say, okay, this is what I want to do. Now, I'm not going to let my entrepreneurial goals get in the way of my career goals. I'm also not going to let my career goals get in the way of my entrepreneurial goals. One has to feed the other, and vice versa. And then from there, you create that schedule that says, hey, I'm going to give my all to my career during these hours. And when it's done, it's done. And now I'm going to focus on myself, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, that's when we're doing another part that, speaks to us. Like, our lives isn't just about the career aspect, the traditional career aspect. the entrepreneurial side also feeds a certain part of us. We're also giving the world another part of us that, our purpose, our, our passion. So we can't starve one for the other and vice versa. So saying, okay, after I'm done with this, I'm now going to be disciplined and work on this. Or the discipline could be I'm cutting off one thing at this time, and now I'm giving the rest of my time to this other thing. So I think the setting the goals, creating the schedule, and then sticking to that schedule helps you balance both. And also creating boundaries, letting letting your entrepreneurial goals know, like, hey, I'm giving this amount of time, and when I'm done, if there are other people involved, hey, respect this time bubble that I've given you, and let's get this done during this time. Same way with your career. Hey, you have to respect the fact that when I'm done at 5, I'm done at 5. Don't expect for me to do all these other things and take over your job too, because you don't want to do your job. So those boundaries play a big role too. And that way you are giving the world everything you have and everything you've been put on this earth to do.
Wow, I love that. I just hear a theme of intentionality with you guys' lives. So it's not just the relationship aspect, but just your life in general. Like there's a lot of intentionality there. So I love that.
It's one of our core values in our relationship, life, intention.
Awesome, awesome. So what are these projects that we're talking about? What are the creative projects that you guys have? What can we expect from you in the near future?
My list is shorter than hers, so I'll go first on that one.
Okay.
I consider myself an artist, so an abstract artist, so I'm kind of just open to whatever I see, whatever comes. One of the biggest things I'm working on is a project that I've been working on for a couple of years. I'm working on 2 books, and I hope to release them by the very end of this year or the very beginning of next year. So that's kind of where my focal point is at right now. I still do my freelance photography and abstract photography. But again, where I'm at, I kind of let that guide me. So yeah, those are my creative projects. Like I said, my list is low in comparison to hers.
No, it's not low. It's just different. It's just different.
I love
coming out with 2 books in a short amount of time is very
yeah, that's huge. So your list is still long, but it comes out, it plays out in a different way, and it sounds
right,
like
right. I'll take that. I'll receive that.
exactly.
Evelyn, what about you?
For me, the biggest thing right now is I'm working on my ready-to-wear label line. So my line is Chidinma Fashion House. And I've already been doing a few custom pieces. Of course, a lot of my work debuted at the wedding. So all the wedding dresses you saw on both the Nigerian and the white wedding day, as well as the bridesmaids dresses on both days, were all designed by me. And so that was like my major debut. And from there, I have been working on a few custom projects for people, and in the background working on a ready-to-wear line. So my goal is to have the first ready-to-wear collection out by the end of the year 2020, as well as continue to accept other TV personality roles, talk show roles, things of that nature. So that's where my focus is right now, the fashion brand and TV.
Awesome. Very awesome. Well, we're coming to a close, but I want to close with a question that I always ask. And it may be the same for you all, or it may be different, but what is your quote? What is that mantra? And I know sometimes that changes when we get to different points in our lives. We may have a different one for a different season, but what is that thing that, you think about in the morning that gets you going? What's that quote that drives you?
What's yours?
Mine is my mantra, has been my mantra for some years. It's do or do not. There is no try, by Yoda. And at the end of the day, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. There is no in between. So if you say today is going to be a great day, no, today is going to be a great day.
Yeah.
You're going to be a fashion designer. You're going to be an author. You're going to be an entrepreneur. Whoever you're going to be, you set those intentions early and you do it. Plain and simple. There's nothing to talk about. We as people, we have an issue of complicating things when life could be so much more easier if we just did it and stopped talking about it. So that's my mantra. Do or do not. There is no try.
I like that.
I love it. Yes, yes. What about you, Evelyn?
I feel like I have like a lot of mantras these days. I literally have an ongoing list that I created a couple of weeks ago of like mantras and affirmations and all of that. But I guess I could go back to one that's always stuck out to me since I was a child, and it was shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
Yeah.
And to me, that always means like shoot for the highest of highs. If I'm going to be a hairstylist, I'm going to be the best hairstylist. If I'm going to be an engineer, I'm going to be the best engineer to design like this national infrastructure. Whatever it is, shoot for it. Like, and even if you miss, quote unquote, you'll be somewhere higher than where you are now. So that's my thing. Every single day, I'm shooting for the top of the top, and I'm not doubting myself.
I love that. I love that. Well, Joe, Evelyn, brother, sister, I had so much fun talking with you guys today. This was awesome. Y'all dropped a lot of gems. I got a lot from it. I think that our viewers will get a lot from it. So I am excited to watch Bridezilla reruns, to see what's coming next from you guys, whether it's TV, authorship, you know, all of the things, fashion design. I'm excited about it. I think everybody else is excited about it. Can they catch you on social media? Do you guys want to drop your social media handles, and I'll put them in the description?
Yes, my main social media handle is @Fashion Briefs. And that's the same on Instagram, Twitter, Fashion Briefs on Facebook. And that's FashionBriefs. And from there, they can also find my links and my promotions for Chidinma Fashion House, or just what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, etc.
Awesome, awesome.
My business handle is The Arnold Works. That's TheArnoldWorks. That's The Arnold Works, or my personal page, The Joe Arnold. I'm kind of more selective about that one, but that's where I do most of my activity at. So, you know, if you accept it into the fold, then
yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Well, all right, guys, this was awesome. UC&P TV, thank you for joining us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Thank you.